All right, folks, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today, we're tackling something I think everyone struggles with at some point: portfolios. Whether you're hunting for a new job, got to impress some clients, or just want to showcase your skills, that portfolio is going to be top-notch.
Absolutely.
And we've got this piece, it's called How to Build a Portfolio, a step-by-step guide. Sounds pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
But you know us, we got to go deeper.
Always digging for those hidden gems.
Exactly. So get ready, because we're about to uncover the secrets to building a portfolio that truly shines.
And the first secret might surprise you.
Ooh, lay it on me.
It's not about the fancy designs or the bells and whistles. It's about strategy. You got to think of your portfolio as a strategic tool, almost like a marketing campaign for yourself.
Ooh, I like that. So we're not just throwing a bunch of projects together and crossing our fingers.
Definitely not. Think about it. You wouldn't launch a product without knowing your target market.
Right. Makes sense.
Same goes for your portfolio. Before you even start picking what to include, you got to be super clear about two things: your purpose and your audience.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break that down for me. What do you mean by purpose?
Well, the purpose of a portfolio, isn't it always the same? To show off your work, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but it's more than that. It's like, what are you really trying to achieve with that showcase? Are you looking for a promotion? Trying to snag some freelance gigs? Maybe even thinking about a whole career change?
So my portfolio for a promotion would look different from the one I use to find freelance work.
Exactly. Each goal needs its own special approach.
Makes sense. But what about the audience part?
Okay, so think of it like you're telling a story with your portfolio.
Okay, yeah.
Every story needs an audience, right? So who are you trying to reach with your story? Are they hiring managers at those cool tech startups? Art directors at ad agencies? Professors at big universities?
Ooh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So like, if I'm a graphic designer going for a job at a trendy tech startup, my portfolio is going to have a different vibe compared to, say, if I'm applying at a traditional bank.
Bingo! You got it! Imagine you're a web developer, and you specialize in building e-commerce sites for small businesses.
Okay, I'm following.
You wouldn't showcase that super complex gaming app you made in your free time, right?
Probably not.
No. You'd highlight those projects that show off your skills in creating user-friendly interfaces, making sure those payment gateways are secure, even sprinkle in some basic SEO knowledge. Got to speak their language.
So it's all about tailoring your work to that specific audience.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm totally getting this now. But hold on, what about the format? Because this article we're looking at, it mentioned something called physical portfolios. Are those even a thing anymore? I mean, it's 2025.
Yeah, no, right. They do still exist, but mostly in those niche fields, like architecture where they need those mini models, or fashion design with all the fabric samples and such. But for most of us, it's all about the digital world, baby.
Right, makes sense. And speaking of digital, everyone's always talking about Behance and Dribbble for creatives. Are those the only options out there?
Oh, they're definitely the big names,
No.
especially for visual stuff like graphic design, photography, But if you dig a little deeper, you'll find all these niche platforms. They're like little communities catering to specific industries.
Like specialized online hangouts for different creative folks.
Exactly. Say you're a software developer, you're going to want to be on GitHub. That's where you showcase your coding chops and all that.
Ah, so it's kind of like choosing the right social media platform for your brand, right? You wouldn't try to promote, I don't know, your Etsy shop on LinkedIn. Just wouldn't make sense.
Right. It's about finding that platform where your ideal audience is actually hanging out. And that's where things get really interesting, because you can actually think of your portfolio as its own brand.
Whoa, hold on. Portfolio as a brand. Tell me more.
Okay, so just like any brand, your portfolio needs a consistent message, a distinct style, and a unique voice that sets you apart.
So it's not just about the projects themselves. It's about how you present them, the story you tell, the overall impression you create.
You got it. Imagine two graphic designers, same skills, similar projects, but the one who presents it better, makes it memorable, they're the one who's going to snag that attention.
Right. It's not just what you know, it's who you know. Or in this case, it's not just what you've done, it's how you present it.
Exactly. That's where personal branding, storytelling, even a little bit of personality can really make a difference.
Okay, so we've covered purpose, audience, format. And now this portfolio is a brand thing. My mind is officially blown.
Uh-huh, good.
But what about the actual stuff that goes in the portfolio? How do you choose which projects to include? Because honestly, I'm tempted to just cram everything in there.
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling. It's like, look at all the things I've done. But trust me, that's not the way to go. Think quality over quantity.
That's always easier said than done. How do I figure out what makes the cut?
It goes back to your purpose and audience. Which projects really showcase the skills and experience that match your goals? And what does your target audience expect to see?
So it's like, I'm curating my work to tell a specific story, right?
You got it. It's all about telling that story.
But how much is too much? Is there like a magic number of projects?
Not really, but a good rule of thumb. Enough to showcase your range, but not so much that it overwhelms people. Think of it like a tasting menu at a fancy restaurant. You want to offer a taste of your best dishes, but you don't want to overload them with choices.
Ooh, I like that analogy. So it's about finding that sweet spot.
Exactly, and every single project you include should be your best work. No filler, no fluff, pure talent, pure expertise.
Okay, you've inspired me to go back and do some serious portfolio pruning. But before I get carried away, what makes a project really stand out?
It's got to be more than just like pretty pictures or lines of code, right? Oh, absolutely. It's about going beyond just showing the final product. You want to give them context, show your thought process, how you solve problems. It's like giving your audience a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Ooh, so it's not just about the what, it's also about the how and the why.
Exactly. And the best way to do this little framework we call problem, solution, results.
Okay, I'm all ears. Break it down for me. What does that actually look like?
Okay, so for every project, start by laying out the problem you had to solve. What was the challenge? Were there any limitations?
Got it. Set the stage.
Yeah.
Introduce the conflict.
Yep. Then describe your awesome solution. What steps did you take? What creative tricks did you use? Any fancy tools or techniques?
So it's like taking the audience on a journey through your brain.
And lastly, this is the big one. Highlight the results you achieved. Did you boost website traffic? Increase sales? Make users happier?
Show them what you're made of.
Exactly. Quantifiable results, those are like gold in a portfolio. They prove your impact, your value.
Wow. I'm starting to see how this framework can really take a portfolio from meh to wow.
That's exactly what we want. A portfolio that doesn't just show off your skills, but also tells a story that grabs their attention and doesn't let go.
I'm loving this.
Good, because we've covered purpose, audience, format, treating your portfolio as a brand, curating your projects, and even using that problem, solution, results framework.
Yeah, we covered a lot. And I'm realizing building a killer portfolio is way more complex than I thought.
You're telling me, but that's what makes it so interesting, and we're just getting started. In the next part, we're diving even deeper with more strategic insights to help you build a portfolio that really shines.
Ooh, can't wait. Stay tuned, everyone. We're getting into the nitty-gritty of portfolios right after this.
Welcome back, everyone. So before the break, we were getting deep into showcasing your work, with that problem, solution, results framework. But there's another layer to presenting those projects that a lot of people kind of miss.
Oh, okay. I'm all ears. What's this missing piece?
It's all about organization. Think about it. When you walk into a store and it's well organized, it's easy to find what you need, right?
Yeah, totally.
But if it's all messy and chaotic, you probably just want to leave, right?
Ugh, yeah. I've totally done that before. Walked right out.
Yeah.
So you're saying a portfolio can suffer the same fate if it's not organized well?
Exactly. Your portfolio needs to be easy to navigate, visually appealing. People should be drawn in, not getting lost and confused, trying to figure out where to even look first.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
But where do you even begin with organizing a portfolio? Like, what are the steps?
All right, so think of it like building a website. You want a clear flow, like a story, from one section to the next. You got to start with a killer about me section. That's your introduction, your chance to make a first impression.
Right, because first impressions are everything. What makes a good about me stand out?
It's got to be professional, for sure. But it's also got to have some personality. Highlight those key skills, yeah, but let your voice shine through. Maybe a touch of humor, a little anecdote, something to connect with people on a human level. Not just a list of achievements.
Yeah, totally. Like, you want to know there's a real person behind all that work.
Exactly. And once you've introduced yourself, it's time to showcase the work itself. This is where that problem, solution, results thing we talked about really comes in handy. But even within that, there are ways to organize those projects strategically.
Oh, interesting. So I shouldn't just list everything I've ever done, like, in chronological order.
Not necessarily. You could group them by type, by skill set, even by industry or impact. Like if
Okay.
you're a web designer and you've worked with small businesses and big corporations, you could have separate sections for each. Makes it easy for people to see what you're capable of.
So again, it's about telling a story with those projects,
Mm-hmm.
curating the experience for the viewer.
You got it. Don't be afraid to get creative with the layout too. Create a visually engaging experience. Play with white space. Use high-quality images, maybe even some interactive elements. Keep those viewers scrolling.
Yeah, that makes sense. You want to keep them hooked. But let's talk about visuals for a second. I mean, even with a great About Me and all, if the portfolio itself looks like clunky or outdated, it's not going to impress anyone, right?
You're absolutely right. Design matters. Even if you're not a designer, you got to pay attention to it. Think about it. What makes you want to stay on a website?
For me, it's clean layouts, easy to read fonts, good visuals. Like if a website's all cluttered or uses some crazy hard to read font, I'm out of there.
Same here. And those same principles apply to your portfolio. Think about your brand, the industry you're in, the overall aesthetic you want to project.
So no Comic Sans, got it. But seriously, what are some key design things to consider?
Start with your color palette. Choose colors that match your brand. Create that visual harmony.
So like if I'm a graphic designer with a bold, edgy style, maybe I'd use contrasting colors, geometric shapes. But a photographer who does natural light portraits, they might go for softer, muted tones.
Exactly. Your color palette sets the mood, the feeling. And don't forget about fonts. Easy to read, visually appealing, and again, gotta be consistent with your brand personality.
Yeah, because nothing screams amateur like a portfolio with a mishmash of fonts.
Right. And don't underestimate white space. It's not just about cramming in as much as possible. Give those elements room to breathe.
It's like giving the viewer a moment to pause and appreciate what they're seeing.
Exactly. And speaking of visuals, make sure those images and videos are top-notch, especially for photographers, designers, that kind of thing.
No blurry, pixelated stuff, got it.
Mm.
But what about mobile? Like everyone's on their phones these days.
Oh, you're so right. Mobile optimization is key. Your portfolio has got to look amazing on any screen size. Test it out, make sure the experience is smooth.
Okay, so color palette, typography, white space, high-quality visuals, mobile-friendly. Anything else?
Most importantly, don't be afraid to experiment. This is your chance to get creative, show your unique style, don't just follow the crowd.
Oh, I like that. Be bold, be different.
Exactly. But hey, I just remembered, this article talked about adding personal touches. Now, isn't that like the opposite of being professional and following design principles?
Yeah, it seems a little contradictory, doesn't it?
It's about finding that sweet spot, showcasing your skills, but also letting your personality peek through. Because at the end of the day, people connect with people, not just a list of skills on a page.
Okay, I can see that. But what exactly are personal touches? How do you add those?
Think about your tone of voice, Are you playful? Formal? Do you sprinkle in humor? That can make you relatable. Maybe you include personal projects, hobbies, things you're passionate about outside of work.
So like if I'm a graphic designer and I'm also, a rock climber, I could include some of my climbing photography or designs I've done for climbing gyms.
There you go. It's like giving people a glimpse into who you are beyond just the work. And it doesn't have to be like super obvious. Sometimes the small details are what really stand out.
Right. Like a photographer who loves nature might use nature-inspired colors, or a web developer who cares about accessibility would highlight that.
Exactly. It's those little touches that add depth and make you memorable.
I'm loving this idea of adding personality. It's like taking something that could feel really stiff and formal and making it, come alive.
And remember, it's all about balance. You don't want to go overboard and lose that professionalism, but a little bit of personality goes a long way.
Okay, so we've talked organization, design, personality. What happens next? After you've poured your heart and soul into creating this amazing portfolio.
Well, you can't just build it and hope people find it, right? You got to get it out there.
That's the scary part. Where do you even begin?
That's what we're going to tackle next. The strategies and tactics to share that portfolio and make sure it reaches the right people. Stay tuned.
We're back. And now it's time to face the music. Got to get those portfolios out there for the world to see. I got to be honest, this part always kind of makes me nervous.
Yeah, I get it. It's like you've been working behind the scenes, perfecting your craft, and now you've got to step onto that stage.
Exactly. It's showtime. But where do you even begin? It's not like we can just stand on a soapbox and shout, "Hey, everyone, look at my portfolio."
Haha, right. Although that'd be kind of funny. Thankfully, we live in a digital age. tons of ways to share your work and connect with the right people.
Okay, good. So what are some of those ways? How do we get those portfolios in front of the people who matter?
One of the simplest but sometimes overlooked strategies is tapping into your existing network. Friends, family, colleagues, former classmates, anyone who might be interested or knows people in your field.
Oh yeah, word of mouth. It's like having your own personal hype squad spreading the word.
Exactly. And don't forget about social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok. Those can be super valuable for showcasing your work and connecting with potential clients or employers.
True, but social media can feel overwhelming sometimes. Any tips for using it effectively to, promote a portfolio?
Absolutely. First, make sure your profiles are up to date and look professional. Good quality profile picture, a clear bio that tells people what you do and what you're all about, and gotta have links to your portfolio, your website, all that.
So it's kind of like creating a mini portfolio right there on your social media profile.
Exactly. You want to make a good first impression everywhere. Then start sharing stuff. Post about new projects, give them some behind-the-scenes peeks, share interesting articles or insights related to your field. Be consistent. Be engaging.
Okay, I'm starting to see how social media can really be a powerful tool. But what about those of us who are a bit more, introverted? Do we have to become social media gurus to get our portfolio seen?
Not at all. Social media can be great, but it's not the only way. Networking is another big one, and it doesn't have to be scary.
Okay, good. Yeah. Because when I hear networking, I think of those awkward cocktail parties and forced small talk. Is there a way to network, authentically, without feeling like I'm trying to sell something?
For sure. Networking is about building relationships, connecting with people who share your interests. Start by going to industry events, conferences, workshops, that kind of thing.
Yeah, get yourself out there, right?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to strike up conversations, ask questions, share your own experiences, and really listen to what others are saying. You never know what might come out of it.
It's all about building those genuine connections, finding your people.
And hey, speaking of community, online communities and forums are great too. Reddit, Discord, LinkedIn groups. You can connect with people in your field, share your work, get feedback.
It's like finding your tribe, right? Those people who get what you do.
Exactly. And while we're talking about online stuff, there's this super powerful tool you gotta know about. SEO.
SEO. Yeah, I've heard of it, but honestly, it always sounded kind of technical and intimidating.
I hear you. SEO is all about making sure your portfolio shows up when people are searching for someone with your skills. Think of it like prime real estate for your online presence.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But how do I actually, do SEO?
Well, there's a lot to it, but the basics are using the right keywords throughout your website, optimizing those images, and getting good backlinks to your site.
Okay, slow down. I'm trying to take notes here. Keywords, images, backlinks, it's a lot.
I know, right? SEO can seem like a whole other world, but there are lots of resources out there, online courses, blog posts, even free tools that can analyze your website and give you suggestions.
So even if you're not a tech whiz, it's worth learning at least the basics of SEO.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even a little bit of knowledge can make a big difference in getting your portfolio seen.
Awesome. Okay, so we've talked networking, social media, online communities, and SEO. Anything else we should be doing to promote our portfolios?
One last thing. Don't be afraid to reach out to people directly. If there's a company you love or someone you dream of working with, send them a personalized email. Introduce yourself, share your portfolio, make that connection.
So be proactive. Take the initiative.
Exactly. And remember, not everyone's going to be interested. You might get some rejections, but that's okay. Just keep putting yourself out there. Keep connecting with those who appreciate your work.
I like that. Don't let those no's get you down. Keep refining. Keep building those relationships. Keep sharing your talent.
That's the spirit.
And hey, who knows? Maybe one day we'll be featuring your portfolio right here on the Deep Dive.
That's a great idea. We'd love to see what our listeners are creating.
So go out there, build something amazing. And don't forget to share it with us.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive into portfolios. Hope you found it helpful. Feeling inspired?
I know I am. We've covered so much. Defining your purpose, finding your audience, crafting that perfect story, promoting your work, and more.
And remember, building a portfolio is a journey. It's always evolving, just like you. So keep learning, keep experimenting, keep pushing those creative boundaries.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And to all our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
See you next time for another adventure in knowledge and inspiration.